right, we've made it to day 3. And again, just a reminder, these words are coming from the text, The Old Woman Who Named Things. The first word that we encountered as we were reading this text was get up and go. So get up and go, guys, is actually an example of an idiom, and we'll talk more about idioms, but it's not literal. Get up and go means you have a lot of energy. So this is an example of when you might have get up and go. Perhaps on like a Saturday after a good night's sleep, you have a lot of that energy or get up and go to do things that maybe you haven't had a whole lot of time for. Parents maybe are thinking about like laundry and going grocery shopping and making a special dinner. Another example of when you might have a lot of get up and go is when you're on vacation. Maybe you're not as tired from going to school or work, so now you have time for things like sightseeing or hikes or swimming or going out to eat. The next word is sag, and I know many of you are thinking the chair, right? Her chair, Fred, had never sagged a day in his life. So what does sag mean? It means to droop or to hang down. In this picture, the cushion is firm, it is strong and solid and not sagging or sinking like cushions do sometimes when they've been sat in a lot. The next example of sag. So let's think about like you're trying to fall asleep on a bed with a mattress that sags. The sagging mattress looks like or feels like, take a look. He's saying, well, perhaps you might want to try something that's a little firmer, madam. So when we're trying to fall asleep on a bed with a mattress that sags, it might be kind of difficult. As you can see here in the picture, the sagging mattress looks like it is very uncomfortable and about to swallow this older lady. Now I want you guys to do something for me. I want you to close your eyes and visualize. Just listen. It is snowing heavily outside. Snow is piling up on the branches of the old pine tree in your front yard, and the branches are sagging. How do the branches look? Go ahead and open your eyes. Let's use this language frame. The sagging branches look like, if you have someone next to you, you can turn and talk or just think to yourself. Good description. Yeah. The sagging branches look like, they almost look like ice crystals, like falling down or cascading down the tree. I want you to go ahead and act it out. When people are disappointed because something did not turn out as they wish, their shoulders might sag or droop. Can you show me what that looks like? Yeah. Do you look kind of like her in the picture? Her shoulders and her neck are definitely starting to sag. Let's look at the next word, creak. The example from the text read, not one creak or moan had she ever heard out of her old bed, Roxanne. A creak is a sharp squeaking sound. The old lady's bed doesn't creak, even though it is old. Some wooden stairs creak, floors can creak, or even gates and doors can creak. What do you visualize and hear creaking? Close your eyes for a moment. I'm going to read something to you. You and a friend are exploring an old empty house. You hear a creaking noise somewhere behind you. All right, open your eyes. What was making the creaking noise? Did anybody think of like Halloween or perhaps a haunted house? I know that's the first thing I think of when I hear like a door like slowly creaking. So before we talked about get up and go, and I told you guys that that was an example of an idiom, let's take a look at a few more. Here we have one called eating crow. So eating crow is probably one of the idioms that maybe we're not as familiar with. In this one, it's kind of like a sign of humiliation almost like maybe you had a really strong position or stance on something and then you were proven wrong, and now it's called like eating crow. Here's one that maybe you're a little more familiar with. What does it mean if a teacher asks you to put on your thinking cap? Do you really have like a hat that you strap onto the top of your head that is your thinking cap? No. So what does that idiom mean? Mm, it most likely means that you're thinking really long and hard about what your teacher is asking you. So what are some other idioms that you guys know? I want you to think for a moment. Um, I even challenge you, like if you have a piece of notebook paper and you're with your parents or somebody next to you, you can jot down some of the idioms that you know, and then we'll talk about those on our next live lesson. I'll give you guys an example of one that's really popular. It's raining cats and dogs. All right, so go make a list of all the idioms you know. Thanks, guys.